Hello there. Didn't see ya. I was just working on the script for the greatest YouTube video ever. Yeah, it's gonna be coming, guys. So, Jack's Mind, episode 24. What a shit show production it was trying to get this out. Took me, 70 years? It was crazy. Lots of things went wrong, lots of things didn't pan out, and lots of things happened that prevented me from finishing this as quickly as I wanted to. Let's talk about the reasons why this particular episode took so long.
Alright, real talk. I've already missed my freaking upload schedule, so yeah.
Alright, let's get out of the way the things that were not my fault, in which I had to go to the hospital twice. Then I also had to refocus my priorities to real life things, because it's become clear that YouTube is no longer going to be profitable in the near future, especially with what's been going on with ad stuff. And so I have been looking to find work elsewhere, and I do freelance work right now, but I also need to find a more regular job that gets me consistent cash flow. Those are the major reasons that weren't my fault that it took me a while to finish this one. The other reasons were mostly caused by my perfectionism and my absolute fear of the original quality of the Jack's Mind series when it first came out.
Whoa, is that a whale? Whoa, is that a whale?
Happy to say that the quality has significantly improved in the 9 years I've been doing it. The major thing was that I keep on making progress, but then deleting the audio completely. I wanted to get this video up by tomorrow, but because I'm too much of a perfectionist, I decided to restart the audio earlier this week, and this is as far as I have gotten. And you might be thinking, oh well, it's almost done. No, it's not. This ended up happening 4 times. Yes?
Here I am.
I'm recording behind the scenes.
Oh, well, here I go.
And just like that, she had entered and then left my life. I ended up completely redoing the dialogue 4 times in this process. In the process of making this episode. I have never once completely deleted and restarted dialogue ever in this series. Not once. And so what had originally happened, I got like 75% of the way through, and then I took a break, and then after a couple hours came back and looked at it and realized I hated all the dialogue. So I completely deleted everything and decided to try again next time. I then got about halfway through, but the same thing happened. I hated the dialogue, deleted it, it was gone. 3rd time, same thing happened. Got halfway through, went back to it, listened, didn't like it, gone, 86th. I soon realized that my initial approach to this episode is what I didn't like. It wasn't necessarily the words, it was more the tonation and the attitude of the episode that I didn't like. So I decided to change that. And 4th time was the charm. And I got the dialogue done. Unfortunately for me, this process is what took up most of the time, as the gaps between me starting were often filled with job hunting, hospital visits, and just general distractions. So yeah, Jack's Mind episode 24 took way too long to come out, and hopefully it will be the last time an episode takes that long to come out.
Excuse me, sir?
Huh?
You do realize that this is a 15 item only lane?
Yeah.
Well, you have 17 items, half of which look like boxes of mini wheats.
I need my fiber, bro.
Well, I don't give a shit about your fiber. If you have more than 15 items, go to a different register.
Yeah, well, fuck you.
What? Oh, right. Fuck me. Because I'm the one who's being a total fucking prick.
This episode of Jack's Mind, I am very proud of. This is probably the first episode of Jack's Mind that I'm actually really proud of. I have a tendency to hate a lot of the final products of things that I make. That's just kind of the way that I do art. I'm hypercritical of myself and of just about everything creative, whether or not it's mine or somebody else's. Natalia can tell you that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was the first one that I actually kind of felt proud of. Now I still have problems with it. There are things I could have done better, but I feel like this was the first time where everything felt cohesive and good, and like it felt like a final product to me, and it made me feel so happy. It was quite a relief that I feel this way after all of the effort that I put into making this episode. One of the major things that I'm proud of are the animations that I did in Gary's mod. I've been experimenting with Gary's mod animations lately and trying out new things. So I had the idea of doing first-person animations. And what I love about first-person... Oh,
No,
what are you doing?
I'm looking for my syllabus.
I'm sorry. What I love about first-person animation is that I can get away with really janky and terrible animation, and the audience isn't going to see it because they don't see the main character's body. It's great. I highly recommend first-person animation to everyone. Everything should be first-person animation. Another thing that I'm proud of are the visual effects I did for it, specifically the little Easter egg towards the end of the video. I included a G-Man from Half-Life 2 in it because I'm obsessed with combining the worlds of Jack's mind with the worlds of Freeman's mind and Barney's mind and Shepard's mind, because I'm an idiot, or I guess. It's all just me taking directorial authority and changing things. I'm taking creative control of the story and adding in things that aren't originally from Bioshock, so don't expect Jack's Mind to go the same route that Bioshock does. It's going to differ quite a bit, and I'm going to enjoy trying to figure out a way to write what I have planned. So back to including the G-Man. What I had to do with that, I forewent making the G-Man model myself, because I'm not a 3D modeler. I instead extracted the model and textures from Half-Life 2, and then saved the model and textures into file formats that Blender, a free open source 3D modeling, animation, kind of 3D general purpose software, could recognize. And then once I had the model all set up with textures working and everything, I had issues getting the textures to work, but I fixed it all by myself because I'm a good boy. After getting that model to work, I then camera tracked the scene and then extracted that data and imported it into Blender and applied it to a camera in Blender. And then once I got G-Man set up and everything, I exported the G-Man animation, with a green background, to create a virtual green screen to composite onto the original footage. And then with the compositing, I didn't have to worry about animating the G-Man in place since I already tracked the camera and included that in Blender. It looked like he was part of the scene, except there was one issue, is that he was floating over everything. To help sell the shot, I did what's called masking, which is essentially removing pieces of footage to show the layers underneath it. And the way that I did that, because I didn't want to mask out a tree by hand, I use a program called Mocha. And Mocha is generally used for camera tracking, which I personally do not use for camera tracking because I don't like the way it camera tracks. But instead what I did is I took the tracking data and then extracted that as shape data to form the masks around the tree, so I didn't have to do that by hand. And it worked almost perfectly. For the shots, for the pieces that didn't work perfectly, I just animated it myself to fit it better. And it turned out pretty good. It's a little bit janky. It doesn't fit 100%, but you know what? G-Man's only on screen for 2 seconds. Most people aren't even going to notice it, and you're not even going to notice its jankiness unless you pause and zoom in, so I'm perfectly fine with it being a little bit janky. And then, after that, I had to color correct the G-Man footage in order to match the rest of the scene, because I exported the G-Man footage at a neutral color tone, where the scene in Bioshock had more of a green lighting, and so I had to color correct to make it match up, and it worked perfectly. I'm so happy about that. That's probably my favorite thing about making this episode, was including the G-Man. Speaking of visual effects, when Jack stabs his hand through the knife when he's fighting the doctor, I wanted him to bleed. So I took a week to learn how to do fluid animations in Blender in order to do realistic blood. But unfortunately, I could never get it to work the way that I wanted. If I kept at it, I bet I could figure it out, but I couldn't. There was a lot of time wasted trying to get that fluid animation to work. And so I decided, you know what, I need to get this out, forego the fluid simulation, just get it out. It doesn't really add a lot to it, so just fuck it. Let's get this video out, because there's a lot of good shit in this video, so I want people to see it. Had I not been so delayed in releasing this episode, I probably would have taken the time to make sure that the blood thing worked. In fact, what I like about fluid simulations is that they can be used for comedic gore a lot better than in-camera practical blood, because with virtual blood you can break the laws of physics, and that is infinitely funnier. If you want to know what I'm talking about, there are 2 videos that I'm going to link to. There's the Potion Overdose by Corridor, although they were called Corridor Digital at the time, but now they're just called Corridor for some reason. And then there's the original Arby and the Chief movie, the scene where the film producer shoots himself in the head and all the blood gushes out. That's also those are also fluid animations. They're both using the program called RealFlow, which is the best fluid animation software available, but it's like $10,000, so I can't afford that. So I'm going to stick with the free stuff like Blender. So yeah, expect a video with fluid simulations from me in the near future, because I think they're hilarious. What's interesting about the way this episode goes is that I kind of let my frustration with how long this video was taking kind of seep into the dialogue. I realized after watching it a few times now that it's finished, and yeah, a lot of frustration.
Well, this is embarrassing. My camera ran out of battery in the middle of shooting and I didn't notice. I guess I need to either get new batteries or a new camera. I'll leave a link to my favorite new cameras that I want to get in the description, in case any of y'all want to gift it to me for some reason. Anyways, this was a really fun episode to make. Stay tuned for my next video, which will not be a Jack's Mind video, but it will be really funny, and I know everyone's gonna like it. And yeah, stay tuned for Jack's Mind episode 25, the Jukebox Musical.